Hi, this is Jennifer Cesario. This assignment is put up by Concordia's EDT 6065, the Teacher Toolbox assignment. This was created via Weebly, so the link is up here, Cesario EDT 6065.weebly.com. When looking at the first home page, the first thing discussed is what is a Teacher Toolbox. Definition of a Teacher Toolbox is that it contains a set of resources or tools to aid in the instruction of students and increase the quality of instruction provided to them. Tools are used a lot to try to increase student understanding and the quality of education that they're getting. And in this presentation, I will be focusing on 5 different tools to increase student understanding. The way to use this site is that you can go back to the home page and go on from there, or you can use the menu button up here and go to the different pages that have been created on this toolbox. So I'm going to move over to the Emerging Trends section. All of the information that I've collected is based on the New Media Consortium Horizon Report of 2014. Those listed some of the emerging trends. There's actually 7 categories that are used. The actual article is located right here in the Weebly. You can click on this to make it a full screen, and you have access to the entire article that was shared with the class in Module 1 and Module 2. If we go back to the Weebly, I have broken down the 7 categories and kind of described each one of those ones. Our 7 categories include consumer technologies, enabling technologies, digital strategies, internet technologies, learning technologies, social media technologies, and visualization technologies. And each of these can go into more information on the Horizon Report and right here in the Weebly. But for the focus of this presentation, I want to make sure to point out the tools that I will be focusing on that are covering these trends. The 5 tools that I will be highlighting include Google Apps, Pictochart, Twitter, Wikispace, and PhET. That is interactive labs that are put out by the University of Colorado Boulder. The way to access these will either be clicking on the pictures and it'll go to those individual pages, or once again you can go through the menu and click on each one of those. So to get started with, we'll look at Google Apps first. Google Apps, or how the Google platform can transition how we collaborate. The information that I use for Google was taken from the Horizon Report. There's actually an article in Newsweek from 2014 that talked about a Google campus school, the Bridgeport Fairchild Wheeler Magnet campus. Uses Google platform as a tool for students to understand information. I have used Google personally when looking at lab report. My example is that I gave students the ability to create paper airplanes. They do research on it, create the paper airplanes, and take results on how far those went. So what I had done is I created a Google Doc, and I had shared this with all of the students in the class. They were able to take this Google Doc, make a copy of it with their name so that they could take this document and edit it as they wanted. They could share it with people that they were working with, in partners or in a small group. They could type directly on this document, and then when they were done, they could share it back to me so I can grade that one. And this is all paperless. We had no problems with those ones. I was even able to create a rubric via Google Docs and share it with them then, so they got their feedback right then and there online. I think Google Docs is a great platform. Google Drive is a great platform for students' engagement and understanding, and definitely big idea is collaboration. So what type of technology is Google Apps? It would be considered a cloud and collaboration environment trend. The ability of using Google Drive and sharing information, not only via students, but collaboratively. I can take my Google Drive folders and share them with my co-teacher and my other colleagues that I work with, so that they have access to all the same materials right there on the drive. What I had added as an additional resource is the Google for Education 101. It's a video from YouTube kind of listing how Google can be used in an educational setting. Our next tool we're going to look at is Pictochart. Pictochart is bringing infographics to the classroom. infographics is just as it seems. It's information via graphics. So what I had done was I talked about what an infographic was, just the pictures to kind of see understanding. Here would be an example of an infographic. This one is created via PictoChart. And I also created a picture talking about why infographics work. 28% words read per visit. The color kind of draws the eye. There's five times more information. It's visual, so you're using more than one sense at a time, drawing the eye to some more information. Infographic can be used in the classroom to kind of compare different topics. In the class that I currently teach, I had asked students to create a mind map, so kind of mapping different concepts of motion and Newton's laws and looking at some of the materials from it, some of the words, some of the connections between those different things. PictoChart infographics would be considered an example of a visualization technology. So it gives students more visually understanding information. In order to support the information for PictoChart, there is an article by Jane Krause right over here. You can go ahead and read through it, kind of list what infographics are and how it helps student understanding. And I also have linked up a video from YouTube on how to create a PictoTraff infographic easily. It is a very user-friendly website, great to use. So highly suggest taking a look at PictoChart and any infographic type website. Third tool we're going to focus on is Twitter. For the high school students that I teach, Twitter is a really great resource, basically because the students are already all on social media. They are Snapchatting and tweeting and Facebooking and Instagramming all the time. So what I had done is I created an Instagram and a Twitter page for my classes. So here's a Twitter page that I've used. Our handle is at BHS IPS Nation. I teach at Bartlett High School, so BHS. I teach a course IPS, Integrated Physical Science. So this is kind of what we use for it. Looking at Twitter, I really have found a great resource when the last month, every single school year, I bring students to the Museum of Science and Industry. And in the past, I'd had students follow a scavenger hunt. I go to the museum 3 or 4 times a year, so I know a lot of the displays over there and a lot of information is online, but it's not really tailored towards a high school student. So what I had done in the past is I created a scavenger hunt and had listed facts from different readings, and students had to figure out the answers to those ones. Now, that was good as it was, but students really were not very engaged in the scavenger hunt. So what I decided to do this year is I created riddles. And those riddles I gave the students on the bus on the way up there. They're trying to figure them out based on the different exhibits. And students in their groups would take a picture in front of that exhibit and hashtag it with the hashtag BHSIPS takes over MSI. So on the day of the field trip, it was really great because students were tweeting out different answers. If I go to our Twitter page, here's the riddle sheet that I've given them. There were 20 different riddles that I created, different exhibits. And if you look up the hashtag, you can see all the different students. The students solved Group 8 riddle, looking at different technology. Right over here, Group 8 solved Riddle 12. That is the circus in the background. That was the answer to one of the riddles. All the different engaging activities that they go on there. This group solved number 1, which the answer was the DNA structure from Watson and Crick. So they were able to put the hashtag in there and put what question it was. And if you look, there's a bunch of different information posted online. Students really got into it. They were really engaged. They were actually excited for it. They were excited to have their phones out and be able to use Twitter as a resource. And then this gave me instantaneous feedback. During lunch, I went through the Twitter feed and seen the number of groups and students going through this, and they really had a great time with it. There were 12 different groups that went, and I did also have 4 groups of people that had the most amounts, so they were getting a little extra fun out of that one, and I did tag the Museum of Science and Industry in this one. So it's a great resource to use for me, for high school students especially. Twitter is considered a social media technology emerging trend. Social media is booming. It's not just for communicating between students, but now we have an open forum to have discussions. Twitter can be useful. I have provided an article talking about Twitter in school on the campus, how it can be used in the classroom. I also have a video created on Twitter from YouTube on how to use Twitter in the classroom. So these are two great links to look at Twitter in the classroom. The fourth link that we'll be showing is a wiki space. It is a teacher-created web pages. I just got started with Weebly, so this is my first experience with Weebly. I've not converted anything. Wikispace was one of the first things that I had worked on, so that's why I had used it. Wikispace can be used for an information processing area where students can access information. This is an example of a snapshot of my personal Wikispace. On there, I can put up videos, files, and even an embedded calendar. The nice thing about Wikispace is that it does not require a login. So unlike Edmodo or Schoology, students or parents don't need to log in. Anyone can access the website as it is. I consider Wikispace an example of blended learning because I can put up a presentation or put up a video and have students look at that one and have that discussion the next day in class. Wikispace is considered a learning management system. So it is part of the Web 2.0 informational systems, looking at conveying information. If I go back and look at the website that I have created, some of the information that we use includes a home page, includes accessing your Gmail account. I have electronic copies of the mini books. Mini books are basically the unit packets. Big engaging activity we have a bunch of different labs, and what I had done is created videos via iMovie for those different types of things. I do create newsletters each month highlighting some of the things that are going on in the class. Any online files I might use, I might throw up, a review or some answers to your review so students can access that information quickly. There is a monthly calendar of events that I have embedded my Google Calendar in, so students can go ahead and click on any of these ones and know what the journal question or answer is for the day, important different activities, and I also highlight positive reinforcements, so that is right here on this website. Going back to the Wikispace page in order to support some information, I do have an article looking at Web 2.0 innovations, including Wikispace and how it's enhancing the classroom. I have included a YouTube video clip and Wikispace for Education. And I have created a video that talks about how you can embed a Google Calendar into Wikispace. The last interactive activity that we're going to look at is interactive labs like PhET. PhET is put out by the University of Colorado Boulder. It has a bunch of simulations with the topics of physics, biology, chemistry, earth science, math, and so on. It can be broken down by grade level, by device. It's got great simulations. There are times when classes don't have the funds to run labs, so PhET is a great alternative. What I've included is some information on how PhET can be useful in the middle school science, and a YouTube video put out by PhET and how you can use simulations in the classroom. Final examples. I have created a technology enhanced lesson plan with infographics. So I have an objective of students can create an infographic discussing phases of matter. I listed the next generation science standards on there, lesson components, and then went through all the different information on there. There is links to the instruction sheet, the example, the infographic, and the rubric that goes along with it. And finally, in the last page, we do have a list of sources in APA format, looking at all the different things that have been referenced, including the videos and the supporting materials for each of the emerging topics and tools. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Please feel free to send me an email. I hope you have enjoyed your tour on technology tools in the Teacher Toolbox, presented by Jennifer Cesario. And thank you again for listening.